Ladies and gentlemen, service members and veterans who have served or are currently serving this great nation, I'm Major General Jon Jensen, the Adjutant General for the Minnesota National Guard, and I'm honored to speak to you today. I am here in this rather unconventional manner to honor our fallen on this Memorial Day. When I consider Memorial Day, I think of the epitaph written on the tombstone of a fallen American warrior. For your tomorrow, we gave our today. Memorial Day is the one day set aside each year to remember those whom Abraham Lincoln observed gave the last full measure of devotion in the defense of freedom. Memorial Day started after the Civil War as a way to heal the wounds of a broken nation and to remember the sacrifice of those lost in defense of their beloved country. The freshly United States lost more than 600,000 soldiers during the war, more than 2,400 of them Minnesotans. Our nation was in need of healing. People began to have local celebrations to honor their fallen, and in 1868, on May 30th at Arlington National Cemetery, Memorial Day was born as what was then called Decoration Day, a day to honor our fallen dead through decoration of grave sites and to remember their sacrifice to bring our nation back together. In 1968, it was officially proclaimed Memorial Day and moved from the 30th to the last Monday of May. This year, we solemnly commemorate the 75th anniversary of the end of the deadliest conflict in human history, World War II, in which over 400,000 Americans lost their lives. In addition, we recognize the 45th anniversary of the formal end of the U.S. war in Vietnam, a conflict in which nearly 60,000 Americans died. It is important that we remember these two occasions on this special day. Though we have lost so many young men and women in the defense of our country, we continue to draw the best and brightest into the defense of freedom. As I speak to you now, American service members are on the front lines defending our nation and the free world from the enemies of freedom. Additionally, as of today, more than 47,000 National Guardsmen across all 54 states and territories have served their states and communities in the response against COVID-19, and they are not alone. Just as service members sacrifice their freedoms, health, and sometimes their futures, so too are many of our fellow Minnesotans in the response against COVID-19. Our first responders, medical professionals, and caregivers are on the front lines bearing the emotional and physical burden of fighting this virus every day. We as Minnesotans must collectively rally around these heroes, just as we have in the past for service members, veterans, and military families during times of their service. These women and men, our neighbors, go to work each day knowing that they are putting their lives on the line for us and for our loved ones. Our police, fire, and EMS departments bravely serve their communities, and our state is blessed with the finest medical professionals and industry in the world. They fight to save our elderly population, many of whom are veterans who served in Europe, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. Whether those we honor this weekend fell in the jungles of the South Pacific or on the bloody beaches of Normandy, on the icy slopes of the Korean Peninsula, or in the rice paddies of Vietnam, on the mountains and in the caves of Afghanistan or the sands of Iraq, or at home in support of our nation during this COVID-19 pandemic, we must never forget. Today, we are not standing in the decorated cemeteries across the nation among our fallen service members and placing flags and wreaths. Today, we are in our home, away from crowds or standing 6 feet apart in public while wearing face masks. I ask that you pause and join the collective nation in a moment of silence during the national moment of remembrance at 3 p.m. on Memorial Day. Stop, remember, reflect on those Americans who died in service to our country. On behalf of a grateful nation, we honor them, we salute them, and pledge to never forget them or the sacrifice of their today so that we could have our tomorrow. Thank you.